Next, I will introduce how to add the notations from Table 2 for a geographic subdivision. If you remember, Table 2 is used for a specific geographic subdivision. However, unlike Table 1, you can only use the notations from Table 2 for a specific geographic subdivision only when you are instructed to do so on Dewey. This is something you should keep in mind. Let's see the example on slide 28. This book is about the geology of Iceland. And the logics of building this DDC number is that we should first find the appropriate class number for geology and then subdivide it geographically. So let's go back to Dewey to identify the notation for geology. So click on main classes under DDC 23, and among these 10 main classes, which one should we select for geology? And it seems that 500 representing science is the most appropriate one, so click on 500. And among these different division numbers, obviously we should select 550, which represents earth sciences and geology, so click on 550. And among these different section numbers, obviously we should select 551, which represents geology, hydrology, and meteorology. So click on 551. And then among these different subdivisions of 551, it seems that the most appropriate one is 551.09, which represents the geographic treatment of geology, as our book is about the geology of Iceland. So click on 551.09. And there are only two options here, and we should probably select the second option here as it represents geology by specific continents, countries, and localities in modern world. So click on the second link here. And the notes tell us do not use class in 554 to 559. And did you remember that we should not use the notations enclosed in square brackets? So based on these notes, we should click on this link which will direct to 554 to 559. And the notes under 554 to 559 tell us class here, geology, geological surveys, and stratifications, even though 554 to 559 represents earth sciences, but based on these notes, we can use these notations to represent geology. And also the notes tell us to add to the base number 55 a notation from table 2 within the range of T2-4 to T2-9. And there are also some examples here. So based on these notes, we should first write down the base number 55, right? This is very important. So let's write down the base number 55 first. And then next, we should click on this link, which will direct us to T2-4 to T2-9. And then next, we should identify the notation for Iceland here. And next, we see different continents here. And since Iceland is located in Europe, so we should click on T2-4 representing Europe, right? And then next, we see different parts of Europe. And it seems that the most appropriate one for Iceland should be T2-49, representing the other parts of Europe. So click on it. And again, it seems the most appropriate one for Iceland should be the northwestern islands. So in this case, we should click on T2-491. And then next we find Iceland here, which is represented by 4912 from table 2, right? So click on it. And there are no more further subdivisions, so the notation from table 2 representing Iceland is 4912. If you take a look at the notes under 554 to 559, again, it they tell us to add to the base number 55 a notation from table 2, and we just identifying the notation from table 2 representing Iceland is 4912. So next we should add this 4912 from table 2 to the base number 55, right? So adding 4912 from table 2 to the base number 55 ends up with 554912. And don't forget to insert a decimal point after the third digit as it contains more than 3 digits. So 554.912 is the DDC number representing the geology of Iceland. And this example demonstrates how to add a notation from table 2 directly to a class number for a geographic subdivision. Remember, you can only add the notations from table 2 when you are instructed to do so on Web Dewey. And in this case, there are instructions on Web Dewey telling us to add the notation from table 2. Otherwise, you cannot do so if without this notes. This is something different from table 1. Even there are no instructions on Web Dewey, you can still add the notation from table 1 to a base number if it is appropriate. And there are some examples here. Under the notes of 554 to 559, and let's try geology of Japan first to see whether we can develop the same DDC number as shown here. So again, the first few steps should be the same. So we should first write down the base number 55, right? So let's write down 55. And then next, we should go to T2-4 to T2-9 to identify the notation for Japan. And again, these are different continents. And since Japan is located within Asia, so we should click on T2-5. And then next, we find that T2-52 represents Japan. So let's click on it. And then next, we just find the different parts within Japan. So we should probably stop here. So the notation from table 2 representing Japan is 52. And next, based on the notes under 554 to 559, we should add the notation from table 2 representing Japan to the base number 55, right? So adding 52 from table 2 representing Japan to the base number 55 ends up with 5552. And don't forget to insert a decimal point after the third digit. So 555.2 is the DDC number representing the geology of Japan. And this is exactly the same as the DDC number showing here as an example under the notes of 554 to 559, right? So that means we are on the right track in understanding these notes correctly. And let's try to work on the geology of Moon to see whether we can develop the same DDC number as shown here. And again, the first few steps are the same. So we should first write down the base number 55. And then next, we should go to T2-4 to T2-9, and you can open this link in a new tab in case we lost this page. And then next, we should find the notation for the moon, right? And it seems the most appropriate one is T2-9 as it represents extraterrestrial world, right? So click on T2-9. And then next, among the different options, we should select the last one, which represents extraterrestrial worlds again. So click on T2-99. And then there is only one option here representing the solar system. So click on it. And then we find that T2-991 represents Earth's moon. So we should click on it. And then there were no more further subdivisions. So 991 from table 2 represents moons. So next we should add this 991 from table 2 to the base number 55, right? So adding 991 to the base number 55 ends up with 991, and don't forget to insert a decimal point after the third digit. So 559.91 is the DDC number that we developed to represent the geology of Moon, and this is exactly the same as the DDC number showing as an example under the notes of 554 to 559, right? And the several examples I just showed you are to demonstrate how to use the notations from Table 2 for geographic subdivisions. And again, you can only use the notations from Table 2 for a geographic subdivision when you are instructed to do so on Web Dewey. Just like when you see the instructions here under the notes here, and then you can go ahead to use the notations from Table 2. Otherwise, you are not allowed to do so. So how about if you would like to subdivide a topic geographically, but there are no instructions on Web Dewey telling you to use Table 2? In this case, you can first use the standard subdivision 09 from Table 1, because we can feel free to use the notation from Table 1 if it is appropriate. And also, T1-09 is for geographic treatment. So using 09 from Table 1 will finally direct you to add a notation from Table 2 for a specific geographic subdivision. And next, I will demonstrate how to use Table 1, particularly T1-09, together with Table 2 for geographic subdivisions. And this book is about the shopping centers in the United States. And the logics of building this DDC number is that we should first find the appropriate class number for the shopping centers and then subdivide it geographically. So let's go back to Web Dewey by clicking on the search button and then click on main classes to find the class number for shopping centers. And among these 10 main class numbers, shopping centers should be located under 300, representing social sciences. So click on 300. And then it seems that shopping centers should be located under 380, representing commerce, communications, and transportation. So click on it. And then among the different section numbers, it seems that 381, representing commerce trade, is the most appropriate one. So click on 381. And then among the different subdivisions of 381, it seems the most appropriate one for shopping centers is 381.1, representing the marketing channels. So click on 381.1. And then we find that shopping centers are represented by 381.11, and this is exactly what we are looking for. So we should click on it. And then there are no more further subdivisions. And the notes here do not tell us how to subdivide shopping centers geographically. And the notes do not tell us to use the notations from Table 2. In this case, we can use the standard subdivisions from Table 1 first. Particularly, it should be T1-09 for geographic treatment. So next, we should click on T1-09, representing history, geographic treatment, and biography. And then among the different options, we should select the last one, representing specific continents, countries, and localities. So click on it. And then among these different options, we should select the last one for geographic treatment. So click on the last link. And then among these different options, we should still click on the last link as it represents specific continents, countries, and localities. So click on it. And there are no more further subdivisions. But the notes tell us to add to 09 a notation from Table 2 within the range of T2-3 to T2-9. And there is an example here. So based on this notes, we should first write down the base number 09, right? So let's write down 09 first. And then we should next go to T2-3 to T2-9 to identify the notation for the United States, right? Because our book is about the shopping centers in the United States. So let's take a look at T2-3 to T2-9, and there are only two options here. Obviously, we should select the second one because we are looking for the modern word, right? So click on it. And then next, among the different options, we should select T2-7 as it represents North America. Obviously, the United States is located in North America, so click on it. And then next, we find that T2-73 represents United States, so click on it. And then there are no more further subdivisions, so we should stop here. And the notation 73 from table 2 represents United States. And then next, if we go back to table 1 here, the note says we should add to the base number 09 a notation from table 2, and we identify the notation from table 2 representing United States is 73. So next we should add 73 to the base number 09 and sub with 0973. So now the standard subdivisions becomes T1-0973. And then next, we can add the standard subdivision to the base number 381.11, representing the shopping centers, right? So adding this 0973 from table 1 to the base number representing shopping centers ends up with 381.110973, and don't forget to place a decimal point after the third digit. So 381.110973 is the DDC number representing the shopping centers in the United States. And if you're not familiar with the structure or subdivision of DDC, you may use the search function or what is called a relative index here. For example, you can type shopping centers here and hit the go button. And then you find that 381.11 is the DDC number representing the shopping centers. But Dewey is not Google. It won't autocorrect your search query, so please make sure your spelling is correct. Let's see one more example. This book is about the American Physical Society, and the logics of building this DDC number is that we should first find the class number for physics and then add the standard subdivision from table 1 to subdivide it. So let's go back to Dewey and then click on the search button to go back to the main interface and then click on main classes under DDC 23. And actually, when we work on the previous example of a bibliography of physics, we have identified the class number representing physics in the general sense is 530, right? So I'm not going to repeat this process. And under 530, we find that the standard subdivisions of physics are relocated within the range of 530.03 to 530.09, as originally the standard subdivisions of physics should be within the range of 530.3 to 530.9, right? Because the base number 530 representing physics has a terminal 0, before adding the standard subdivisions to it, we should first remove this terminal 0. And then next we can add the standard subdivision 03 to 09 to it, right? And then insert a decimal point after the third digit. So originally, the standard subdivisions of physics should be within a range of 530.3 to 530.9, but now the standard subdivisions have been relocated within a range of 530.03 to 530.09. I think probably because there were too many new discoveries and new knowledge in physics. The DDC numbers related to physics were not enough to represent all the knowledge of physics and had to be expanded. So in this case, one more digit were inserted for the standard subdivisions of physics. And so later, after you add the standard subdivision to the base number representing physics, you should make sure that the DDC number that you build is within this range of 530.03 to 530.09. So next, let's go back to table 1. And since the American Physical Society is an organization, and among these 9 standard subdivisions, T1-06 representing organizations and management seems the appropriate one, so we should click on T1-06. And there are only 2 options. Obviously, American Physical Society is an organization, right? So we should click on the first link. And again, there were only 2 options here. And obviously, American Physics Society is not an international organization. So we should select the second link here. Click on it. And then there are no more further subdivisions. And the notes tell us to add to the base number T1-060, a notation from table 2 within the range of T2-3 to T2-9. So based on these notes, we should first write down the base number T1-060, right? So let's write down T1-060. And then next, we should open this link in a new tab in case we lose this page. And then under T2-3 to T2-9, there were only 2 options. Obviously, we should select the second link for the modern world, right? So click on it. And since United States is located in North America, so we should select T1-7 representing North America. And then we find that T1-73 represents United States, so we should click on it. And there are no more further subdivisions, so the notation from table 2 representing United States is 73. So if we go back to the notes under T1-06, the notes tell us to add to the base number T1-0660, a notation from table 2, right? And we found that the notation from table 2 representing United States is 73. So next we should add 73 to this base number. It ends up with T1-06073, right? And then next, we can add this new standard subdivision to the base number representing physics, which is 530, right? So again, since this base number contains a terminal 0, however, if we go back to 530, the standard subdivision were relocated within a range of 530.03 to 530.09. So now one more 0 were inserted. So in this case, there is no need to remove this terminal 0. We can just go ahead to add the standard subdivision. And then insert a decimal point after the third digit. So 530.06073 is the DDC number representing the American Physics Society. And remember, since DDC was first developed by Dewey in 1876, it has been updated and revised a lot of times. So whenever you add a standard subdivision to a base number, you should pay attention to whether the standard subdivisions of the base number have been relocated within a different range, like the examples showing here. And the next example is used to demonstrate when a standard subdivision has been displaced to non-zero number, so that another standard subdivision can be added to the base number. It is a bit difficult, so I'm not going to present it. You may take a look at it by yourself. I would say that you will not encounter this kind of difficult questions in the assignments and exam of this course. And slide 37 introduce the mark coding of the DDC call numbers, and you can read it by yourself. And the next two slides are to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of DDC. I think after learning how to build the DDC numbers and construct the LC call numbers, you may now have a better understanding on these two most popular bibliographic classification system in the United States. And next is the time for you to do the in-class activity. The first part of this in-class activity only asks you for the first 3 digits. That is the main class number, division number, and section number. So no more than 3 digits for the first part. And for part 2, you may need to use the notations from table 1 and table 2. And this is the end of the online lecture on DDC. Thanks for watching.